Hi everyone, welcome to my first battle report for this channel. Today we've got 350 rep of Bane versus 350 rep of Batman. I will go through the crews for you so you can see what they have and what equipment they have, and then we'll start the game. Okay, so here is the Batman crew. We have the Back to Gotham Batman, Teen Titans Robin, Harvey Bullock, Sierra and SWAT guy, GCPD Detective, Agent 1 and GCPD Police 1. We have radios on the GCPD Detective and Harvey Bullock. We have handcuffs on Sierra, and we have a whistle on Agent 1, and I haven't used whistles for a while, so I'm going to have to remember that it's actually on there. And then I'll go to the Bane crew next. And here is the Bane crew. We have Rebirth Bane, Militia, Infiltrate Op, Support Op, Mercenary, which whenever one of them he is, Mercenary 2 I think, and the Militia Soldier with the carbine. Mercenary has handcuffs, Support Op has a backpack, and Militia has an extra venom dose. And from the three different options of traits that Bane has at the beginning of the game, he's picked Close Combat Master, because he wants to be able to take out Batman if they do meet in combat. And here's our setup for the game today. We have Vanguard, so we have 12-inch corner deployments opposite each other, and I can deploy one model from each crew up to 4 inches outside of the deployment zone. And we have Delayed, so each crew is going to have one model that is higher than 50 rep off the board, ready to come on later. So both crews only have one option for each of these. For the Batman crew, it's going to be Robin, he's going to have to stay off the board. And for the Bane crew, it's going to be Militia that stays off the board. So they will be coming on later, as per the rules. And we will get to the game now, once everything is set up and ready, and we'll come back for turn 1. So setup is complete, with the Batman crew deploying in this corner. Over here, these are the regular deployments. We have an undercover deployment here, and then we have one of our hidden models, Detective Bullock, over here, and we have the other hidden model, the GCPD Detective, over here. And then for the Bane crew, they are deployed in this corner, and they have one hidden model, which is deployed up here on the lamppost, and then we have our two models staying off the board for now, with Delayed. And then we are ready to go with turn 1. The Batman crew has rolled the higher, so they'll be going first, and it doesn't look like either crew is going to be playing any phase 1 objectives, so we will be getting straight to activations. So the first activations of the round, we had the GCPD cop move up from the deployment zone and with Inspire place a suspect. The Bane crew then passed with their only pass of the round, so we had to use the Agent 1. She moved up a little bit and placed a suspect with Audacity behind her. However, the Bane crew activation that happened next was Infiltrate Op. She moved from the lamppost over here, placing a suspect with her radio first, then using hacking to move the sewer marker from one corner of the building to the other, and to move the suspect marker that the cop had placed down from the board edge to there. She was just about in range to reach it, and then she took a shot. So she moved, so she had to hit on 4s instead of 3s, but it meant she kept all her dice because she has the assault rule. But even with the red dot reroll that she gets, she only got 3 hits through, so there are 3 blood and 1 less effort on the GCPD agent. So the next activation up is the GCPD detective, who moved around from this corner to here. Before he did, he placed a suspect marker which turned into a snitch marker, and then he moved around the corner and placed another suspect marker just to have more on the board for the Batman team. I don't think anyone's going to be able to get to this marker over here, so that's probably going to score at the end of the round. To try and counteract some of that scoring, the Mercenary 2 bounced to this sewer from this one over here with his free manipulate from Bane, and then he placed a suspect marker down with his normal action to score Black Ops, as he's within 8 inches of Harvey Bullock, but Harvey cannot see him or the suspect marker, so he scored that card there. So the next activation was Harvey Bullock moving around the corner without Audacity, but he was able to reveal the suspect marker that was there due to having a radio, which scored him going through everything. And he also, as a resource, played following the clues. There was only one suspect marker on the board to move, but he moved the infiltrate op marker away from the map post towards him, so he can maybe have an easier time of revealing more markers later in the game. He, at the start of his turn, played the resource domination and moved the snitch marker 4 inches towards that sewer, and then using Bane's Inspire, bounced all the way from the sewer over there to the sewer over here, and is within 4 inches of the snitch marker, so if he's still there at the end of the round, he will be stopping the snitch marker from scoring, which is very rare to see in the first round of a game against the Batman crew. Next up for the Batman crew, the SWAT officer Sierra moved from around the corner to here, and with Audacity placed a suspect marker and doesn't really have much else to do, but that's the best you can do for the round, just trying to keep the suspect markers on board for the Batman crew. So another halfway across the board move from the Bane crew, the militia soldier with carbine went again from that sewer to this sewer with free manipulate from Bane's Inspire, and he also had Audacity, so he was able to move to the sewer and then come out of this one and then shoot down the way at the SWAT officer. He's not within 8 inches, so he lost a dice through shoot to cover, and the shooter did not kick in. However, he still managed to get 4 hits through, even with the bulletproof vest and -1 to hit. So that's 4 blood damage on Sierra over there, and it gives us another model within range of snitch marker, just in case anyone tries to take any of them out. So, last activation of the round for the Batman crew. Batman MacLeod his way from around the back of the building to here, triggering sneak attack on these guys, so they couldn't make any efforts to defend themselves. Batman split his attacks so there was 3 dice on each of the models, and they defended nothing. So they each took 6 stun each, which was enough to knock both of them out. But in terms of the snitch marker, they still count as models on the board, so they're still stopping snitch from being scored right now. But Batman has knocked out 2 of Bane's guys, so hopefully for the Batman crew, that they remain knocked out for the next turn. So for Bane's last activation, he couldn't really do much. Wasn't really anywhere for him to get into combat from the sewer or anything, so he just moved from his sewer over here to over here, ready to inspire some of his guys over here and help take out some of the police that were around here. And that is the end of the round in terms of activations, so we're going to see if anyone wakes up and see if there's anything left to score. So for end of round scoring and cleanup, these 2 guys both miraculously woke up, so they are able to activate next turn. Whether they will still be awake by the time they get to activate, we have to see. In terms of scoring at the end of the round, the only cards that scored were 1 for each crew. For the Batman crew, they scored, let's get the glare off of that, they scored Stick to the Plan, as they have 5 suspects on the board compared to their Bane crew's 1. And then for the Bane crew, they scored Ground War, as they have 2 friendly models within 4 inches of the same scenery element, within 8 inches or inside the enemy's deployment zone. So actually these 2 guys here, not only did they stop the snitch being scored, which is now reverted to a regular suspect, they also managed to score their own objective by being within 4 inches of this building, which was in the deployment zone. So this is what the setup for round 2 is looking like. We have our delayed models that have come on. Robin has chosen to come on from this board edge here to try and help out some of the cops over here against Bane. And Militia has come over on this side of the board, and she has taken a Venom dose already, so she is ready to go for combat. We have some Audacity assigned to most of the Bane crew over on this side, and Batman, Robin, and a few of the cops over this side have got Audacity as well. There are no Phase 1 objectives being played, they're just not coming out into the hands, it seems. So we will get started with the activations for round 2. So the Bane crew won the take the lead, and Bane decided to activate first and try and shut Robin down before he could do much damage. Unfortunately for Bane, he did not roll very well, and not efforting to take dice out actually rather paid off for Robin. Overall, after all the attacks were rolled, this is what we got, even with rerolls and pluses from Bane having Venom and his traits that he has. He still only managed to get 2 through, because Robbie rolled very well for defense and he rolled very badly for attack. So that's 4 stun on Robin, and he's still up, and Bane is very, very angry about it. So we'll see what Robin can do with this second chance of life. However, following on from Bane not knocking Robin out, he did, however, get to score Search and Destroy, as he did get 2 hits and he performed 2 efforts with the Venom. So he, despite not getting his prize, he managed to score the card instead. So for the first activation for the Batman crew, Robin, in another act of defiance against Bane, just bypassed him and moved to here. And is 1 inch away from the mercenary and attacked him, but first he used his stay in formation trait to move Harvey Bullock towards him, so that Harvey Bullock is also in contact with the mercenary, which gives Robin stun damage as well as blood damage on his staff. He attacked using his staff against the mercenary. The mercenary efforted 2 dice away from Robin, and Robin efforted 1 back in. Which was the mercenary's downfall in the end, as the Robin got 4 hits through, and the mercenary blocked none of them. So Robin ended up doing 4 blood and 4 stun, and because the mercenary had already taken stun to efforts and dice away, he was knocked out. And looks like Harvey Bullock is going to be ready to arrest him afterwards. And because Robin has always on the move, so he can interrupt his movement with an attack action, he only moved 8 inches up to here, so he has another 5 left because he has lots of movement and acrobat, and he is going to use his 5 extra inches of movement to get into base contact with Infiltrate Op over there. I already measured it out beforehand. There isn't really any cards for him to score from this, and Mercenary doesn't get to score any cards from it either, because he didn't block anything within range of Bane. So we're going to move on to the Bane activation next. So 2 quick activations for both teams. We had Sport Op just stand up and use the rest of his movement to move over to here, where there was the suspect that was a snitch last turn, but with his backpack equipment that I bought him, he removed it. And then over here, the GCPD cop that was standing here just ran away from Militia down the alleyway there towards the SWAT guy, just to get away, but he couldn't really do anything else because he didn't have Audacity, so he was just trying to get himself out of dodge over here. So we had the activation for Infiltrate Op next, and as usual with Audacity she was able to do basically everything. First, before she moved 2 suspect markers with hacking, 1 further away so that it was further away from Bullock, and then 1 just further down the alleyway, away from the board edge. She then moved around to this side of the building and placed a suspect, which became an invasion, because it is within 4 inches of a scenery element and within 4 inches of an enemy model, because Robin is right in the building. and I rolled a 3, so at the end of every turn after hers, it will go down, and as long as the suspect marker is still there, when it reaches 0, it will score. And then with her last action of the turn, she shot at the GCPD agent that was over here. Didn't do too well, only got to 2 hits, but that was the only blood that was needed to kill the GCPD agent, so she is now off the board. So, just like Infiltrate Op, Harvey Bullock with Audacity had a big turn. Before he moved from over here, he arrested the mercenary that was over there, so he's now off the board. No arrest cards played though, but he did shoot before he moved as well at Bane. Only 2 bullets got through, and Bane obviously, with his Venom Enrage, gets rid of 2 damage. So it would only be a Blood Stun going through, but he played non-lethal ammo, which changes all the blood markers to stun markers. So score the card, do 2 stun to Bane, and then moved over to there, and with his detective trait and his radio, revealed the enemy suspect that was there, and with his evidence tampering, placed a friendly suspect in contact with it before it was removed, so that's that on there. And then as a resource, he played Wait for Backup, which means that the unknown cop that was killed, just an activation ago, is now placed back into the deployment zone for the Batman crew with no damage, but she cannot activate this turn, but she is ready to help Batman out the following turn. So 2 more quick activations. The Militia Soldier just stood up and tried to get away as far as he could from Batman, but with only half movement after standing up, couldn't get too far, and then Batman activated and chased him down, and re-knocked him out with a couple of stun, but that's all really Batman can do. And after those 2 activations, the timer on this is now counted down to 0, so that scores invasion for the Bane crew. So the Bane crew passed, and the Batman crew activated Sierra, the SWAT guy. He moved from over there to here with Audacity, and he is going to arrest the Militia Soldier as he has handcuffs, and then he's going to place a suspect marker down, which will be a snitch, and so hopefully at the end of the round they can score that. I don't think the Bane crew is going to be able to get to it, but I said that last turn and they did, so we'll wait and see what happens. So Militia is the last activation for the Bane crew this turn, and she, with Audacity, used both her movement and her super jump to get all the way from over there near the board edge to here in contact with the Sierra SWAT man. She, even with Venom, only managed to get 1 hit through because she didn't effort, whereas he efforted to get some damage, get some dice away. So he removed 2 of her dice, so she was only rolling a hit dice and a strength dice. So he took 2 stun damage for that, and then he blocked 1 of her attacks, but she still managed to get 2 damage through on him and a crit, so he's not down. But the reason she didn't effort in, even with her 3 efforts from Venom, is that she was able to score Overdrive. When an enemy model makes an effort to defend itself against your model's attacks, don't declare an effort for your model. So she didn't manage to knock him out, or really to get him off the board, but she was able to score 2 points for her turn, and she is right near the snitch, so she's going to stop that from scoring this turn as well. The last activation of the turn for the Batman crew was the GCPD detective. He just moved without Audacity from around the corner to there, but with his radio he gets his free Inspire from Batman even though he's across the board, so he placed a suspect there just to keep the GCPD in the suspect game, and then we will do the scoring and recoveries at the end of the round. So at the end of the round, no one was knocked out, so no one needed to be recovered. And the only scoring is for the Batman crew, who scored a stick to the plan, as they have more suspects in play than the Bane crew. The Snitch, again, was foiled, and so doesn't score this turn. And so we will be back for turn 3, and we will see who's going first and how everyone is set up. So at the start of the 3rd round, the Batman crew has taken the lead. The only card being played in Phase 1 is Domination from the Bane crew. The event marker has been placed in contact with the newly revived Agent 1. So as long as the Bane crew have more models within 4 inches of that marker at the end of the round, they should be able to score it. It's pretty much the only place Bane could have played it this round, because they are only 4 models strong now as a crew, and so they also all have Audacity. The Batman crew, most of the Audacity is on this side of the board. Batman, Sierra and the Agent, and then Robin has it over there as well. Bane is looking a little out of the way over there. He's going to have to try and get back into the fight. So we'll see what happens in this round. So Robin activated first for the Batman crew, came round the side of the building to try and take out Infiltrate Op before she could do too much on her turn. However, she efforted 3 times to get rid of his dice, but he has enough stun damage from Bane the previous turn to only be able to effort back 1 dice, and so he rolled his dice and only managed to get 2 hits, and she rolled all her dice and managed to block all but 1 of those hits. So she only took the 1 blood damage from his bow. However, she did take the 3 stun damage from the effort. But there isn't really much else around her, so she should be okay for this turn. And Robin feels a little bit disappointed that he didn't manage to take her out. So Infiltrate Op activated next and ran around the building away from Robin. She, with her radio, placed a suspect. And as you can see, Robin cannot see her or the suspect, and so she scored the other Black Ops card for her team. She then used hacking to move the enemy suspect that was here closer to Harvey Bullock, so that he has to move away to place any more. And she also moved the sewer marker from the corner of the building close to Bane. And she then used her last ammo of the game to take some shots at Harvey, losing 1 for cover, due to the building kind of being in the way. And she didn't roll too well, so she only got 2 blood damage through on Harvey. So Batman activated next and decided to try and stop Militia from activating and doing anything this turn by jumping on her right away and fighting her. She used 2 effort to get rid of some of his dice, but he used 3 effort to put the dice back in, plus get an extra 1. And as you can see from the roll, with Batman in yellow, he did rather well, and she, with her defense dice in red, did not do that well at all. So she took 12 stun in total and is now utterly knocked out, and that is Batman's activation. So Bane activated next. He took a venom dose and then used the resource for Search and Destroy to give himself an extra 4 movement. So he was able to go 12 inches from basically the edge of the board into contact with Harvey. Harvey took a risk and efforted 3 times to get rid of 3 dice from Bane. But Bane used his 2 free venom efforts to put 2 more dice back in. And as you can see again from the roll, Harvey did not do that well, and with the +1 to hit and the rerolls that Bane has from his traits, he's able to just completely knock Harvey out. So Bane's finally managed to take someone out this game, and he's moving ever so closely to Batman. So Bane activated next, using a venom dose, and then using the resource to get extra movement, so he was able to go down the board to Harvey Bullock. Harvey tried to defend himself from the attack by efforting 3 times. However, with the venom dose giving 2 free efforts to Bane, he managed to get a few more dice back in, and was still able, especially with a roll like this, to take Harvey out and knock him out. So Bane has finally done something this game, and is ever so slightly moving closer to Batman. So we'll see if they meet up in the final turn. So we're going to go on to the next activation for the Batman crew. So before I forget, during Bane's turn, because he played the resource, he drew up another card, which was Cyber Attack, and so he's played that as an objective. And after the roll, I managed to get a 4, so I've marked these 2 enemy suspects with counters, and hopefully at least one of those, if not both, are still there at the end of the round, so I can score Cyber Attack. So quick activation for the Batman crew. The detective moved from suspect over there to over here, and then with his radio, with his free manipulate, he's going to reveal that suspect, taking away one of the counters for Bane's Cyber Attack. So with there being so few models left for the Bane crew, they passed, and Sierra, the SWAT man, activated for Batman. He stood up and arrested Militia over here first, then used the rest of his movement, from impaired movement for standing up, to move over to here to try and put some more models around the Dominion marker for the Bane crew to try and stop them scoring it. And he also displaced a suspect for free from Inspire from Batman. Doesn't really score him anything, but he did score get them off the streets when he arrested Militia. So we'll see what the Bane crew can do to follow that up. So last activation of the turn for the Bane crew, support op basically had to sort of abandon trying to score the Dominion card. He wasn't going to be able to kill or knock unconscious any of these 2, and he wasn't going to be able to move it in any way that would keep it away from them. So he just moved his 10 inches all the way through to here and placed a suspect marker down, which he should have dealt with because he placed it there, and played the invasion card and got a 3. So for the next 3 turns, following on into the next turn, if no one reveals that, they will score 2 points for the Bane crew. But yeah, he's not going to be able to score the domination card, and not going to be able to take out either of these 2. So he just did what he could. So we did the last 2 activations of the Batman crew together because there was no other models left to go. So Agent 1 over here moved from here to here, but she shot at him first, losing a dice for cover, but managing to get 1 hit through, so she took a blood stun, and then she moved around here to try and stop that marker next turn, because it's counted down after these last 2 activations to 1, so it's going to roll over to the next turn. And then the GCPD cop over here just moved around the corner. Don't really have anything else to do. Doesn't mean he's placing suspects or anything, so he is just there ready for next turn to help anyone out that he needs to. So we will do the end of round wrap up, see what scores and what doesn't, and then we'll get going with the last turn of the game. So at the end of that round, Harvey Bullock did wake up. He rolled really low on his endurance roll, so he is able to wake up and activate next turn. No one else needed to wake up or anything like that, so we just reduced the stun damage on each person. And then scoring wise, one card has scored for each team. Technically not in the end phase, but Cyber Attack scored for the Bane crew, as that token was still on the suspect marker at the end of the round. No one revealed it when the counter would count it down. And for the good guys, once again, 3 turns in a row, they've managed to play a stick to the plan. So that's all of them out of the deck now, but that's a big chunk of scoring that they've got from the same thing each turn. The evasion marker is still ready to go for the next turn, so we'll see who gets take the lead in terms of that scoring or not. And yeah, we will get to the final round of the game now. So for the start of the final round of the game, the entire Bane crew has Audacity, because there's only 3 of them left. The Batman crew, Batman, the detective, Robin, and the agent behind the building over there have Audacity. The Batman crew won the lead role, so they'll be going first, just to add insult to injury for the Bane crew. However, the Bane crew did get to play 2 objectives in the first phase. We played Die Hard, and that we played on Infiltrate Op over there, so see if she can survive the final turn, and if she does, scores the card. Another domination marker, just to try and score some points. Put it in contact with Harvey Bullock, so that we've got the most amount of models near it, at least for now, and we can try and keep that between just the Bane models. The Batman crew didn't have any first round cards, so we will just get into the activations. So first activation of the round for the Batman crew, Agent 1 activated. She first off revealed the suspect marker that was there, so the invasion card no longer scores, and then she just moved around the corner to get out of line of sight of support op, but there's nothing else she can really do, so that's going to be her activation. So infiltrate op was the next to activate, and for the Bane crew, she was over here. She moved that suspect away from her with hacking, and also moved the domination marker from in contact with Harvey to over here. She then placed a suspect with her Inspire and rolled on the last invasion card for the crew, hoping to just score some extra points, so hopefully it will stay there. And it rolled a 3, so just 3 more activations after her, and it will score. And then she moved to over here. She doesn't have any ammo left for her gun, so she just placed another suspect down here, but there wasn't anything to really trigger off of that. So that is her turn, and let's see what the Batman crew can do in response. So next up, the GCPD detective activated, running around to here, using his free Inspire radio manipulate to get rid of the suspect marker. He also then took the couple of shots that he had left from moving before shooting to try and get some damage onto infiltrate op, to try and get rid of the Die Hard card from scoring. However, he rolled awfully and got no damage at all on. So support op is going next for the Bane crew. He moved from the edge of the building to here. He is going to use his backpack to get a free reveal manipulate action, and he's going to get rid of that suspect. And then he's going to use his regular tactical action to manipulate the sewer, and he's going to come out over here and try and help score the Dominion marker. And he's going to use his tactical action to manipulate and get rid of that so that invasion doesn't score. But that is going to be it for him for this round. So Bane activated next, just in a sort of effort to get some last points at the end of the game. He re-knocked out Harvey Bullock, especially as he had no defence or effort or anything for being knocked down, so it was quite easy, but he just needed to get someone else back on the floor and unable to get near the domination marker. And then he just moved back. He also has taken his Venom Dose as well, so he will be shrugging off some damage this turn if he gets attacked. At the moment we have 3 models around the domination marker from the Bane crew and only 1 from the GCPD, so we will see whether they can stop the Bane crew scoring that and what else we can score during the round. Oh, also I do have Search and Destroy. I used the 2 free efforts from the Venom Dose on Bane, and we scored some hits on Harvey Bullock, so we scored that card. So doing the last 3 activations now of the Batman crew. I've done them all already, apart from the dice rolls for the last one. So first of all, Sierra, who was over there, used his movement and his free manipulate from being within 8 inches of where Batman was to go through the sewer. So he's gone over here to try and stop the domination marker. The GCPD cop just ran from over there to here, again, just trying to get some bodies around the marker. And then Batman himself, who is over here, MacLeod, all the way over here, into combat with Bane. And so we're going to do the dice rolls for that now. So I thought it'd be quite good to show the big fight at the end, literally the last turn of the game. So, Bane could not see Batman over there because of Master of Stealth and all of that sort of stuff. So sneak attack kicks in. Bane cannot make efforts against Batman's attack. Bane has no damage on him at the moment. Batman has 2 stun on him. But I don't really think he's going to need to effort, but I think he might. Yeah, I'm going to effort once with Batman. So that is going to be 3 damage on Batman there. because he was on 2 already, so he's gone up to 3. So that's going to add another dice in there. So we have a lot of dice on Batman's side versus just 3 defense dice on Bane's. Master of Stealth gives Batman a +1 when he's using sneak attack as well. So he is going to be hitting Bane on 2s. So let's roll all of these. Pretty good, pretty good. That one, no rerolls for the old bat whiff, but there we go. And his strength is 3+, so he's got the strength dice as well. And then Bane's going to try and block them with these. Ooh, some nice ones there. So, 2 of these taken out. That is 8 stun altogether on Bane, which is not, it's 1 away from being enough to knock him out. So, we are going to score for the Batman crew. They won't see me coming. Inflicted damage, and he couldn't see him at the start of the round. Doesn't get to score Batman's card, however, which was ready to be scored. But it doesn't trigger, because we didn't knock out Bane or make him a casualty. However, for Bane, he manages to score hardpoint, because he's within 8 inches of other veterans, and he cancelled 2 hits. So he scores that. And that is going to be the end of the round. So we are going to count up the cards and see who's won the game. So we are back with the end of round scores. We have 14 points here for the GCPD, which is less than I thought it would be, and with more than I thought they would have, with 21, is the Bane crew. So I think what must have happened is they must have front-loaded quite a bit of scoring and managed to get a little bit here and there scrapping through, and all those 2s just sort of add up when you're scoring with the Bane crew, whereas the police crew, I think I needed to get more of the arrests cards out, even though I was arresting lots of people. I needed to get the arrest cards out and managed to score 1 of those. But I think the plan was very consistent for them. But yeah, I think a few more of their cards could have come out. I think I was stuck with... had some of these in here, like I had one ready, but obviously last turn couldn't arrest anyone. Didn't manage to score that right at the end. And these I kept having come up in my card, in my hand, and discarding them, but Infiltrate Op without hacking kept moving them away from the board edge, so I wasn't able to score those. And then if we want to look at the Bane crew had left in its hand at the end, obviously I haven't redrawn up because it was the end of the round. We had another domination marker come up, free for all, didn't really get into the centre of the board this time, and then another search and destroy, which was kind of easy to score this turn, but wasn't able to get another one going. So I think that went pretty well in terms of a game. Hopefully next time I will have my opponent here, my mate Paul, who you usually play with. I just did a solo game today, so there's probably a few rules here and there that I missed. Maybe not because I missed them, but just because they weren't really going to play into much with just being a solo player, like things like tracking for Batman and him making someone activate first on the other team, things like that. I know I missed those out. But yeah, I think it did pretty well. I think I haven't played with or against the police for a while, and I've forgotten how good being able to arrest models were. Like, the amount of models left for the Bane crew is not great, and the fact that the Batman crew, obviously apart from Harvey Bullock being knocked out, they're all back on the board, especially as the agent who was killed earlier on is now back on because of one of the resources. So it's actually quite good at keeping the numbers up in the Batman crew. Robin I thought was really good. It's the first time I'd used him, but I think I need to use him a little better and maybe see what he can do against some less hardened thugs. And I think despite her being a shooty mercenary, Infiltrate Op is very hardy with a defense 5, so she's actually quite hard to take out in combat, despite the fact that she's a shooty model. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Literally any feedback you have, put it in comments, put it on the Discord. Hopefully my voice hasn't been too monotonous, and hopefully you can hear it properly. So hopefully I can get some more of these recorded at different points, hopefully with an opponent. And we'll try out some different crews and some different lists. And I hope you enjoyed it. So goodbye for now.